Hello everyone. I am noticing that most of the people are not following my complete playlist. That's why they are having lots of doubts. Please follow my playlist for complete video tutorial on interview questions of JavaScript. Link is given in the description below. Hello everyone. Let's have more than 100% focus for promises in the JavaScript. This is the must question for an interview. Now we will see firstly the need, then concept, and then we will see some examples based on the promises. Firstly, what is the need of promises? So JavaScript is synchronous language, but sometimes when we call a JAX API, set timeout, etc., it becomes asynchronous in nature. At that time, to handle our tasks synchronously, we make use of promises. Promises came into the picture to solve callback hell issue which is caused while using callbacks in JavaScript. Let's understand the concept of promises. So promises is something like day-to-day life promise in our daily life. Suppose you have been told to lift up a weight of 10 kg. So you will surely say, let me check. So at that particular mode, the promise will be in the state of pending. Once you will be able to successfully lift up the weight of 10 kg, promise will be in the state of fulfilled. If you will not be able to lift up a weight of 10 kg, then promise will go into the state of rejected. If promise is either fulfilled or rejected, then we can say that promise is in the mode of settled. So in this way, promises is having four states. As we have already understood the concept of promises, it's a time to see our syntax. So whenever we are writing promises, we are just writing where promise is equal to new promise. And in the new promise, we are writing a function. Either resolve, then reject. And then we are writing some code to execute that particular task. Let's understand this syntax with an example. So here we have written where promise is equal to new promise. Then we have written function, resolve and reject. Then we have just compared variable x with variable y. If x is equal to y, then resolve. If not, then reject. Once the promise definition is done, we will write promise.then. Just to see if it is resolved, then console.log we will print success. If it is not resolved, we will print error. Let's see this example in our VS Code. So here where promise, the syntax is also very easy. New promise. Inside this we will write a function. We will accept two parameters. First one will be resolve. Second one will be reject. Once that is done, here we will write two variables. Const x is equal to apple. Or we will also write const y is also apple. This is just a very simple example of a promise. If x equal to y, then we will call resolve. If not so, then we need to call reject. Once the promise definition is done, we need to call that promise. So we will write promise dot then. Inside that we again need to write function. Something like this. Now I will write console.log and I will just print that success. That means promise is resolved. If not, then what I will do? I will simply write .catch. Inside this I will again write function. Simply see that what's happening. Console.log. Command Z we will do. Console.log I will just print error. Let's see in the browser what's happening. Yes, it's printing success. If it is not same, then what will happen? For example, in place of apple, if you will write back, it will show error. So in this way, our promise is working perfectly fine. So in the callback, we were just getting the result. If certain task is executed successfully, our next task is executed. But in the promise, we are getting assured result. Even if it is success, we will get result. If it is not success, then also we will get result. as a rejected form. So in this way, promise works behind the scene. It is very easy to use as well as it is asked in multiple interview questions. Next thing, we will say to an interviewer that when there are multiple promises, we need to wait for one promise to get reject. Then the concept of promise chaining come into the picture. Suppose on my one of the condition I am calling one promise. Once that promise is getting fulfilled, I will call another promise. That promise is getting complete, I will call another promise. So at that time the concept of promise chaining come into the picture. But later, as we call promise chaining multiple number of a time, it leads to the confusion in the code itself. So due to that, concept of async await came into the picture. What is async await? That will surely be the next question for an interviewer. Let's see that particular question in our next video tutorial. Thank you so much for now. Let's meet in our